Hello guys, and welcome back to Bookshare Velicore. If you're new here, I am Soph, and this is my very cozy corner on the internet. Now, I must be truthful with you. I've vlogged all of Monday and last week, and then when I looked back at the video footage that I had, I was just very unsatisfied with it. Living in England and not really owning any camera equipment means that the quality of the videos is really bad when the light, well, we don't get nearly as much daylight anymore. So this is what I've managed to salvage from whatever footage I had. And the first thing that I wanted to show you before we move on to a bit of talky bit is, ramen. I spent most of the day cleaning, but then for dinner, me and John, we made ramen. We make it pretty much every single Monday at this point. So, enjoy. Okay, so as you can see, well, that's the kind of ramen that I make most of the time. And for the rest of the day, I kind of ended up playing a bit of Pharaoh, which is my childhood game. It's a very strategy-based game where you basically have to build towns in ancient Egypt. And I played it for a little while, and then I moved on to drawing, which, you'll see in a minute. So in the beginning of the video, you could see me read The City of Brass. I actually managed to finish this book. I finished it during filming that video, and it was quite alright. It's a bit of a 4 out of 5 for me. It's a young adult fiction set in Cairo. Well, set in like fantasy world. But the main lady, she was from Cairo. It's basically just filled with, it's a book filled with fantasy creatures and jinns and all the magical ancient beings very close to the Middle East or Africa. Right, after I finished, like I said, I moved on to read. I moved on to drawing a bit, and I was basically trying to be a bit more creative with what I was doing. And I started with doing some splashes, watercolor splashes on just like a plain canvas, and then I tried to make shapes into characters or things. And I'm actually very happy with how this moon turned out. It was I definitely had this vision, and it's definitely one of my favorite pieces that I've ever made so far. Other than that, how have you been? Do you have any New Year's resolutions? To me, it's like I haven't actually had many. Normally I tend to make New Year's resolutions, but this year I was like thinking, you know what, maybe I'll skip it this year. So I think the only actual resolution that I have for 2022 is to read a few more books from many different countries. I really got into Japanese fiction last year, and I definitely want to keep on reading Japanese fiction as much as possible, but I definitely want to try and read books from different continents and different countries and different areas of the world and get to know their stories a bit more. So obviously, any recommendations, I'll gladly accept them, and I'll probably get these books anyway. Other than that, I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with my YouTube channel. Now, originally when I started making videos, I really wanted to make them look very aesthetic. I wanted them to be very aesthetically pleasing, and I wanted them to be very cottagecore and very relaxing. But obviously, besides the fact that I am not the kind of person who would try really hard to make things look aesthetically pleasing, because our lives are not an aesthetic most of the time, and I'm sure most of you can relate. They're just filled with things that are just ugly. It's also quite hard to do that if you don't have the equipment, and at some point I would like to get a camera, sure, but that's not nowhere near in my current future, mostly because they're expensive, but also I'm kind of, I can do most of the stuff with my phone. It's just me, playing a bit with the brightness, playing with the shapes. As you could see a second ago, I was trying to figure something out, and then I ended up just abandoning the idea and moving on to something else, and I'm really glad I did. You'll see later. Yeah, so my YouTube channel, I also realized that I am not incredibly great when it comes to just talking to the camera like that. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it, but I still need to get used to the fact that there is nobody there that I'm talking to, if that makes sense. Then I'm just kind of talking to myself, and I definitely feel a lot better when I have a script, but obviously I don't really want to rely on scripts. I'd rather just speak from my heart. I don't know. I hope you know what I mean. So right now I'm just going with the flow and just telling you whatever comes to my mind, and I am not cutting this, so there's going to be a lot of ums and a lot of little breaks, because that's how I normally talk, though in real life I would probably talk a lot faster. So I've been trying to kind of fix that a bit. Well, besides that, I've been working on my art a bit more. I got an iPad for Christmas, and I'm incredibly grateful for it, because I can actually start drawing digitally, and I've wanted to do that for ages. And I could never justify spending so much money on such a little thing, but I am so glad that I have it finally, because it's just, it's incredible. The amount of stuff that I can do on it, I would definitely recommend you getting a sort of digital drawing helping thing if you can, and if you want to, obviously. But that being said, I didn't really think that I would see such a difference, because obviously it is completely different to a traditional drawing. You don't have the feeling of the pencil touching the paper, and you don't feel the roughness of the paper. Everything's very smooth, and it took me a while to get used to. But I'm still trying to figure out the actual Procreate program and everything that comes with it. But I managed to find my favorite brushes, and I'm kind of currently working on my drawing style and figuring out what I like and what I don't like. Is this channel going to become an artsy one? I have no clue. I definitely want to include some of them. I would love to include some of my some of knitting. I would really love to properly learn how to crochet, because, well, I do have a crochet thing, but I never actually managed to do it, mostly because it takes time, and I am a very impatient person. I've been knitting the same blanket for like the last 3 years and I still haven't finished, so maybe I'll finish at some point, hopefully. Yeah, I would definitely like to keep talking about books. I do want to take you for another trip with me to London, to go to my favourite bookshops, which still is going to be Foyles and Waterstones. I would also like to go to just many other bookstores in London, the ones that I've never been to, show you what they look like, show the way they are, and show you what books I'm getting. I would definitely like to talk to you about the books that I am reading, and well, some of you might be glad to hear that I am actually doing a reread of Game of Thrones currently, and finally, because it's been a while, and I really see that. But the thing with Game of Thrones is I started a series 3 or 4 years ago when I went on holiday to Greece, and I brought with me a book by Stephen King, and I really did not enjoy it. So I kind of left my Stephen King book at the resort in Greece, and I brought Game of Thrones book with me. I'm not sure if I should have done that, but I left my book, so I guess it's like, you know, a bit of an exchange, and I hope somebody enjoyed it a lot more than I did. Yeah, and I read it then, and I almost finished it. I gave up 20 pages before the end, but that's mostly because I just started uni again. But I am finally doing a reread, and I'm just stunned. Is stunned a word? I'm astonished, shocked, in awe of how great this book is and how well written it is, especially after I've read so many different books last year, you know, of various levels of greatness, and Game of Thrones is just like up there, and yeah, so when I'm done, I really want to move on to the remaining books, the remaining 4 books, I think, or 5. I know we're still waiting for 2. I don't know if we're ever going to get them, but I definitely want to read the rest of the actual series. And well, the other plans that I have for the nearest future is reading the Book of Dust. 2 of them came out. I think the 3rd one should come out this year as well. Because if you haven't heard before, my favourite book of last year was actually Northern Lights and the whole His Dark Materials series. And I definitely want to continue on reading Philip Pullman's books. I am also going to do a reread of The Lord of the Rings. I tend to read it once a year, and that happens around February and March. Other than that, I have some Japanese fictions, definitely a lot more Murakami books that I still have to read. Yeah. And then we will see after that. We will see what I'll feel like reading and what I will have. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't record me drawing a cat. Literally have no clue. I just decided to stop the recording. Here's the final drawing that I did. I added some bits and pieces. I'm very happy with this girl. She's holding a cloud. Overall, I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I think this exercise was very helpful for my creative side, I want to say. Yeah. And here's the cat. Very sleeping cat. I had no clue what to do with this spot, so I just drew a cat. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!